Welcome to this week's episode of the Punk Popcast, where we're talking about taking back Sundays. Tell all your friends. Welcome to another installment of the Punk Popcast. I am one of your hosts. My name is Brad, and as always, we're joined by our guy Jason. Welcome, Jason. How are you today?
I'm doing all right. How are you today?
I'm doing well. Thank you very much. I'm glad that for us, right now it's the weekend. We're pre-recording, but I'm ready. I'm ready to get into the weekend. How about you?
I am ready to do absolutely nothing this weekend. I can't.
If only on this side. But anyway, so like I said before, we're going to be talking about Taking Back Sundays. Tell all your friends. We've talked a little bit about this album because I went back to make sure that this was one of the ones that I included in my top 3, and indeed, I included this in my top 3 punk pop albums for our very first episode, and I stand by that. This is an outstanding album. It's still one of my absolute favorites. Believe it or not, it was not my introduction to Taking Back Sunday. I kind of went backwards, like out of order a little bit when I first was introduced to Taking Back Sunday, but I get the hype. Like when I first heard this album, I was like, okay, yeah, I understand it, because I had friends in high school who were obsessed with Taking Back Sunday because of this album. Did you know people like that growing up?
Where I was, it was not like a huge album, but I'm in the sticks. So
Well, there you go. That's going to make a difference, right?
But once I started college the first time around, flunked out people, college dropout, you know how that goes.
I do know how that goes.
the people I was hanging out with really dug this album, so I got into it through them. Years later at my job, I ended up meeting a guy who's from the same area as me, went to different schools, and he loves this album. So we had something we could bond over outside of just being from this area.
Yeah.
So
there you go. But yeah, like I said, there were guys I played baseball with who like they were taking back Sunday shirts to practice every single day because they're just like, dude, they're the freaking best. I'm like, oh, all right, well, I'll get into them. I never did until
that's really cool.
Until their second album came out. But anyway, so you let us off last week, so I'll lead us off this week. The first track that I would like to talk about today, Jason, is Timberwolves at New Jersey. Okay, when I first saw the track list for this album, I immediately fell in love with this song simply because of the title. I mentioned just a few minutes ago about how I played baseball. I also played basketball growing up. I'm a huge basketball fan as well. And I was like, there is no two ways about it. This song title has come from these NBA teams, the Minnesota Timberwolves and the New Jersey, at the time, Nets. And that was one thing that really appealed to me. And then especially another track, Ghost Runner on Third. It's like, these guys are obviously into sports to some degree, and I love it. Absolutely love it. But one thing that I like about this song is the way that it's set up. The beat and the cadence of the lyrics, the way that it all goes together, has always just been like a head bopper to me. It's one that I've always liked listening to. Just kind of like, it's one of those chill summertime driving songs, that I've always felt like it's one that you can roll the windows down and just drive nice and easy through town, and everything's good. Everything's good.
See, I don't look at this as a chill song. I look at this as kind of like a get fired up kind of song. Because it starts out of a cannon. There's no.
It does.
And going back to the name, I don't know. Maybe I'm the only one who thinks this, but every time I see the name, I hear the name, I literally picture the logos in NBA Jam for these teams.
Yeah.
Like very specifically NBA Jam version of these teams, I think.
That's awesome, with like the 16-bit graphic.
Yes. Timberwolves versus Nets. Sorry.
That's awesome. No, like I said, that's one of the things that I love about it, is growing up an NBA fan. That's one of the things that appeals to me, and apparently it appeals to you in that level too.
But this is a fantastic song. I'm really glad you picked this one, because I think this is one of the strongest songs on the album.
Uh-huh.
I always love the line, "I got the mic and you got the mosh pit." I don't know why I've always loved that line, but I've
Me
always loved that
too. I
line.
was gonna go there. I love that line so much. Like I say that to people all the time. Anytime somebody would like hand me a microphone for anything at all, ever, it's like I got the mic, you got the mosh pit, and nobody ever understood the reference, but it's just something I always say to people anytime they hand me a microphone for anything at all, ever, because I love that line. It's awesome.
And I guess we got to acknowledge that this might be a song about Jesse Lacey.
I think so. I was listening to this song. It's only a 34-minute album, so it's a really quick, easy listen. And I was like, I think like maybe 3/4 of these tracks are about him.
Yeah. This one, I mean, this one I think specifically was his demise
Mhm.
so carefully constructed. Well, let's just say I got what I wanted. Like
Yeah.
they go
Um,
hard.
so we'll get to the chorus in a minute because I like the chorus. I like the way that it's set up. But the bridge is, this is me with the words on the tip of my tongue and my eye through the scope down the barrel of a gun. Remind me not to ever act this way again. Like I feel like that goes back to a lot of stuff that we talked about last week on last week's episode. You know, that there was obviously a really intense issue between these two that has obviously since been resolved. And I actually read something between the last time I recorded and today uh, that they both said it actually was resolved a lot quicker than what a lot of people think.
Yes, that's true because there is, I think it's still on YouTube, a clip of Jesse singing "There's No I in Team" with "Taking Back Sunday" from like 2002.
There
So
you go. Yeah. So yeah, because I remember hearing that they toured together relatively recently after the whole thing. I was like, oh, I bet that went well. You know, kind of like when Blink 182 and Green Day toured back in 2004, and there was all kinds of issues. But but yeah, I was like, oh man, but it seems like everything was fine. So I don't know. But let me talk about the chorus here real quick. So the way things go into the chorus, and I don't know if, and you know, I say this to me as like a good summer song. It's also, I talked before when we talked about this album in our first episode that this was a really good snowboarding album, and this track as well is another good one because of, like I said, the cadence and the pace of it, especially the chorus. Literate and stylish, kissable and quiet, kissable and quiet. Well, that's what girls' dreams are made of, and that's all you need to know. You have it or you don't. You have it or you don't. Like and I'm not gonna go in and sing it because I can't carry a tune in a bucket. But the way that they go through this whole thing, like the way they sing this chorus, to me is like so catchy and so perfectly put together and well done that like this is a song that I just walk around singing all the time. Mostly the chorus and the bridge are what are usually going through my mind.
and this song, I mean, one of the hallmarks of this album are their choruses where you have both Adam and John.
Hmm.
It's not quite a call and response, but John's always in the background singing a
Hmm.
totally different line or a similar line as Adam's singing his line. And I love how they layer it, and it's in such a natural pre-Pro Tools way of layering vocals. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it really is. It's absolutely perfect. This is, like we talked about, one of the strongest songs on this album to me, and one of my absolute favorite Taking Back Sunday songs. And I could list off a bunch because they're one of my favorite bands ever. But this is one of my absolute top tracks by them. Go ahead and send us one, Jason.
Okay. Well, yeah, I'm just gonna go for it. I was thinking of going with one song specifically because it's the lead off. Um, but I'm gonna go with "You're So Last Summer."
Okay.
Uh so story time. Uh
Yes.
and I had
I
mentioned
need a
this.
graphic for this. I need to put together a graphic for story time just so that we can like throw it up there.
It just shoots up in the middle in story time.
Yeah. Yeah.
um so the year I really got into this album was like 2004. Because like I said, I didn't know anyone who knew the album, so I didn't really get into the album until I knew people who did.
Hmm.
Um and I had been kind of going on dates with a young lady, and all the dates were very awkward dates. Like our first date was a blind date where we went with the guy who played bass in my band and his future ex-wife to see The Passion of the Christ.
That
Very
sounds
romantic.
incredibly awkward.
Um,
I'm sorry. So
the
awkward.
second date had a failed first kiss in the car. The third date, she read me poetry some guy gave her. It was just all awkward and awful. We still talked on the phone for a while, and then you're young, you have Sit Diary or Zanga because that's the time frame this took place. I just kind of vented about it on my Sit Diary that a whole 3 people read. Well, she was one of the people who read it, and in response to me, her next post was "You're So Last Summer," and it was just the lyrics to the song. And it was like, "You know who you are," and I've always just had a kinship to this song ever since that.
That's fantastic.
For the record, we hung out a bunch more times after that between 2004 and 5 and 6. So
At least you could still hang out, and it wasn't
no,
painfully
it was
awkward.
always awkward. It was
But
always awkward.
was it really? That's so funny.
The best part
I
was,
had this thing where I had to if it was awkward hanging out with somebody, I just had to drop it, you know. I had an ex-girlfriend who's like, "You think we can still be friends?" Like, no, it'd just be weird. I couldn't do it, so I just cut her out of my life entirely.
there are 2 peak awkward moments beyond the ones already mentioned. October 04, we were hanging out at her house, and she's like, "Why don't you come lay on the floor with me?" And I'm like, "Oh, okay." So I'm awkward and weird, and you've already shot me down for a kiss. So 20 years later, I realize, oh my God, you're stupid, man. And then I'm on the way home in 05, dropping off my then girlfriend after hanging out with her, going on a date. And I get a call from this girl, and she's like, "I think I'm ready to start dating you." And I'm like, "I think you waited too long."
Nice.
It's just, that's the theme right there. It's just bad timing constantly.
That's funny. That's really funny.
So I had my story for the song. Song's great. I love the lyrics. Ever since that was posted, I've always felt, like I said, a kinship to the song.
Mm-hmm.
Especially the boys like you are a dime a dozen. Great line. I feel
Didn't your
it, I
wife
get
tell
it.
you that when you were dating too?
No.
Oh no. Okay, I thought.
Damn, man.
I thought somebody told you that. Or am I thinking of somebody else who was told that?
You're thinking of this girl. I mean,
Okay,
the one who posted it online.
Okay. I thought you'd had another experience with this song.
No. But it's definitely stuck in almost 20 years. So that's great. What are your thoughts on the song?
Well, so my first thing with this song is this has the best beginning to any music video I've ever seen in my entire life. For those of you who don't know, it plays the intro, and then when it comes in with the words to "She Said Don't," Flavor Flav pops up from the bottom of the screen, just this big grin on his face, and it is so funny. The first time I saw that, I seriously, man, I was sitting on a couch, and I literally fell off the couch I was sitting on. I was laughing so hard. We had to stop it and start it over again. I think we did it 3 times because my friend and I were just busting up laughing so hard. And we could start over because when I bought this album, I bought the special edition release that came with
nice.
a DVD that had music videos and all this stuff. So it's pretty fantastic. But yeah, it's just oh my gosh, that's the best thing I've ever seen in my whole life. It's so funny. The Flavor Flav grin with the clock, everything was absolutely perfect.
Well, this will tell you how old and dated I am. I recorded the video off of Much Music USA back when I first saw it because I thought it was that funny. So I have it on VHS still.
There you go. Nice. Oh, then yeah, this was the days of DVD was the mainstream, but you could still get VHS tapes, you know? That's when this was. For those of you who don't know what a VHS tape is, ask your grandparents, they can tell you. But
before we move on real quick, I got to get to the bridge because I'm the wishful thinker with the worst intentions. This will be the last chance you get to drop my name. Fantastic line. I love it. It's great. It's such a put down to yourself while still getting a little back at them. Love it. Fantastic stuff.
Yeah, this song has a lot of really great lyrics. The bridges on this album are outstanding. First off, every single one of them have great lyrics. with outstanding music to go with it. But yeah, that's actually where I was going next. I was going to address that, and that's perfect. Absolutely perfect. Love it. All right, let's move on to our next track. I'm going to go with. We're going to save the quintessential song for last. We're going to go with The Blue Channel. So this is another one. This is another song like you talked about. It gets shot out of a cannon. Just boom, gets going. And at the very beginning, and I'm not so sure if I'm sure of anything anymore. Like that's a really good line to me. That's a great line. And then there's another one. Where'd it go? I don't know. I'm having issues with Genius today. It's not working very well for me. But anyway, but the chorus is awesome. Actually, that is the chorus. It's the opening song. It's opening verse, but it's also the chorus. But no, anyway, sorry. This is just another one of those driving songs that comes off this album that comes out of a cannon, doesn't slow down, and it smacks you in the face. And that's one of the things that I really like about Taking Back Sunday is the energy that they bring with every single song.
I love the second verse because it's absolutely filthy without being overly filthy. They used good visuals. They spell it out, but you can picture exactly what they're saying.
Mm-hmm.
And it explains why he feels the way he does.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't think I'm the only one who's been there. So
yeah, I like the way that they paint pictures in this album, and this song especially is one of them that does a great job with it. But yeah, no, I think this is a great song, and like I said, like a lot of what comes back with me is the drive of the album, and always at the time, like snowboarding was like my top priority in life. Like it's like, okay, when can I go next, and what can I do to curate the perfect playlist while I am snowboarding? And this is another one of those songs that made it onto my playlist that never got used because I didn't have good headphones. And um, but also like just I don't know, it fit the perfect cadence for what I was looking for at the time, and I don't know, I didn't really like the Blue Channel a lot. That's all I have to say about it. Let's go ahead and take a quick break. When we get back, Jason has 2 tracks left. I have one.
The None Sports Podcast is the home of sports talk for everyone. Every other week, you can catch David and Jason as they talk about all things sports, from current events to classic moments and everything in between. You can find the None Sports Podcast on Anchor.fm, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Podcast Addict, and more. Please don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review.
9+ Us presents the Baseball Together podcast with your hosts Blackjack Brad and Kansas City Little Big Briggy Blue Eyes. Weekly episodes for the entire baseball family where we talk all baseball all the time. Available on all your favorite podcast apps and on YouTube. Come join our baseball family where we do baseball together.
Welcome back to the Punk Popcast. We are talking today about Tell All Your Friends by Taking Back Sunday. Jason is going to grace us with 2 more tracks. Jason, go right ahead with your next track.
all right, I'm gonna save the heavy hitter for last, just like you're doing. I'm gonna go with the opening track. You know how I do. Upon first listen to this album, I mean, it like all the songs we've talked about so far, they hit hard right from the get go. I love that beginning. So sick of being tired, and oh so tired of being sick. We're both such magnificent liars, so crush me, baby. I'm all ears. Like that cuts right to exactly what the song's about immediately. I love this song. I love the lyrics. I love the music. It's just a really great opening song. I'm stealing your gimmick here in the second season.
I know you are, yeah. But you know what though? That opening line, so sick of being tired, and oh so tired of being sick. That like there was a while I was sick for like a straight month. and people be like, "Hey, how you feeling?" I'm just like, so sick of being tired, and oh, so tired of being sick. And in fact, my best friend, the one I was talking about last week, who introduced me to Brand New, he had COVID and like a whole slew of other things going on. Was sick for like 3 weeks, and I was like, "How you doing, man?" And I sent him that line. He's like, "That is exactly how I feel right now." It's like that is absolutely perfect. No, that's one of the greatest opening lines to a song album, in my opinion, that
Yeah.
I've ever heard, because it's catchy and it sticks with you. It's perfect.
Oh, I find myself singing it all the time, and there'll be times I don't even listen to the album, and I'll be singing it in my head because it's ingrained in there now.
Hmm. Yeah, and I find myself doing that with a lot of this album because it's so catchy, and the lines and the lyrics are so good and so strong that like they'll randomly pop into my head for no reason at all, and I'll just catch myself walking around singing them for days at a time, and then I have to go listen to the album, and that's part of the reason it's in my top three. But, all right, you ready for me to get into the one of the main
I
tracks
am.
here? All right, let's do this. So we have to talk about Cute Without the E, parenthetical, cut from the team. I know we've talked about it before. I included it with one of my acoustic songs, but that's how much I love this song, that this is the third time we're going to talk about this song on this podcast in 17 episodes so far. It's an amazing intro. The lyrics, your lipstick is color, don't bother, Angel. I know exactly what goes on. Oh, geez. Ruh-roh, somebody's in trouble is my first thought there. But then it's like, but then it goes into the verse and it doesn't let up at all. It's like, when everything you'll get is everything you've wanted, princess. Well, which would you prefer, my finger on the trigger or me face down, down across your floor? Or yeah, me face down, dead across your floor. Like, oh my goodness. These
Right.
lyrics are so strong and so direct. And I feel like the original version, this regular version of this song compared to the acoustic, um, has a completely different tone to it, right? I think we talked about how the acoustic kind of sounds like it's like pleading, but this is like, punch somebody in the face is what it feels more like. But
I would be remiss if I don't mention how great the 10-year live acoustic version is.
mhm.
So they did for those listening who don't know, when they reunited with John and, oh my god, I'm blanking on the other guy's name. I want to say Scott.
I honestly have no idea. I can't remember. This is one band that I've loved for years, and I only literally know like two guys.
So they reunite, the original band reunites, and they
Right.
do a live acoustic version of this album, and it is fantastic. Um, and this song and my next song are
Mhm.
two of the really highlights of that album.
Yeah.
Um, real quick, we gotta talk about the video
I don't think I've ever
where
seen it. I don't think, or if I did, I don't remember watching it.
it's like it's part Fight Club, part Awkward Prom. Where it is fantastic. I highly recommend you watch it if you've never seen it, because it's all I think of when I hear this version of the song.
Yeah.
Um,
That's so funny. So
Go
so
ahead.
I saw Taking Back Sunday on the New Again tour. So this would have been, my gosh, like 12 years ago, 11 or 12 years ago. And they played this song. This was like I was excited for them to play the new album. I wanted them to play some stuff off louder now, but I was like, this is the one I have to hear. And they did play it, and it was unreal. One of my best experiences with a live song ever. It was so good. It was amazing. Um, but no, I don't know. This is, and like I said episodes ago, that this was the first song that I listened to that I was like, this has to go on a snowboarding playlist. This has to be on a playlist. And it's on so many other playlists that I've made over time that it's become like ingrained in the soundtrack of my life. But
It's a fantastic song.
amazing. Love it. All right, Jason, you want to finish this off?
Yep. So last week we talked about 70 times 7 and Brand New. Well, this is the response, if you will, to that song. It is There's No I in Team. We already went through the background last week. I don't think we need to go through it again.
Right. If you haven't heard it, go back and listen to the brand new episode, and I think I'll actually put a link in it for easy access.
This to me is the more biting of the two. I know the brand new song you feel lyrically is the more biting of the two. For me, I think it's the more biting of the two, especially when they use the lyrics from the brand new song in their own song.
Yeah.
I always loved, me personally, I always loved wearing your black eye like a badge of honor, soaking in sympathy from friends who never loved you nearly half as much as me. That is a hurt person. Like, they clearly, I don't get the feeling that he regrets what he did, but I definitely think he regrets seeing what happened to his friendship. And for the record, I talked about last week, I did find the picture and sent it to you of
Yes.
Jesse Lacey wearing his black eye like a badge of honor.
That's exactly what it looked like. Well, you skipped a line real quick because I like the beginning of that part of the verse where it says, "And I've got a $20 bill that says you're up late night starting fist fights versus fences in your backyard." Like, I've always thought that was a funny line because, like, who fights a fence, right? But then, like, the more that I've learned about the situation and what everything with this song means, it's like, you're somebody who's going to start a fight with anybody regardless of what happens, right? Like, it doesn't matter, you're gonna fight them. And I thought that was such a good cutting line. And while I think that the lyrics of 70 times 7 cut a little bit harder and a little bit deeper, the tone of this song cuts harder and deeper because it's pretty dark. It sounds dark. Like, that's why the first time somebody told me what this song was about, I went and listened to it, and I couldn't get into it initially just because I was like, but it's not like 70 times 7, you know? So it took me a couple times to really listen and then get into it and listen to the words. And it's very, very good. I love this song.
And for the record, I've got a $20 bill that says they took from mixtape.
Yeah.
I mean, there's references galore, but I mean, more importantly, I mean, where is it? Not the chorus, in the bridge, they take the bridge from 70 times 7 and rework it into their song. And I actually like the way they do it. I like it better than 70 times 7's version.
Do you? Oh man, 70 times 7 is so good though, man. And see, like, and that was one of the things I think I had a hard time with at the beginning of the song, is because it's a spoken word instead of sung, right? Because I really like the way Brand New sings it, but at the same time, working it in as a spoken word, it does work, especially with the music.
And I actually think, if I remember reading correctly somewhere, that whole bridge from both songs is verbatim what one of them said on the phone to the other after everything happened.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I mean, I assumed those words, like that phrasing, those words came from somewhere. But I didn't realize that's what it was. That's cool.
If I remember correctly, and I'd have to find the article, and when I do, I'll share it with you. But I believe that these are actually words that one of them said to the other on the phone after everything happened.
That's cool. And which makes sense, so let's end this call and end this conversation.
Yeah.
I mean, that works. It adds up, Jason. It makes sense.
I would like to think it does.
But I do think the chorus is cool. Broken down in bars and bathrooms. All I did was what I had to. Don't believe me when I tell you it's just what anyone would do. Like, you can't blame me for it. That's crazy.
I always liked everything I know about Breaking Hearts. I learned from you. It's true.
Yeah.
Because I mean, the basis of the background of the two of them is that Jesse was always.
It was the ladies' man, right?
He was a ladies' man, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now John's getting something for himself, and Jesse doesn't like it, and we end up with two really great albums.
And two great songs, by the way.
Yes.
But, man. Anyway, all right. Well, Jason, I let us off with our pop punk rating last week. what would you rate this as? This is for those of you who are new to the show. We do a scale of 1 to 100, 100 being quintessential, and obviously 1 or 0 being not at all pop punk. Where would you rate this album?
Oh, 100.
Me too. Yeah, and I can't not, because it is one of my top 3. It is absolutely outstanding. You can always go back to the well here, and there's always something new there to learn and listen to and enjoy, because it's outstanding. Absolutely fantastic. But let us know what you think of Tell All Your Friends by Taking Back Sunday. You can reach out to us on the Twitter machine. Reach the show at Punk Popcast, or me. I am Brad. I am at Jojo Cornero, and Jason is...
I'm at XJasonDagX.
Very good. Well, thank you again for joining us for another episode of the Punk Popcast, and we'll catch you next week.
Later.